Hello YouTube and all the ISL fans out there. Welcome back to another episode of Meet the Coaches. I am TieFighter23, host of the Miami Heat Trans, and I'm here with my co-host.
Hello, everyone. I'm Xavier, coach of the Dallas Victory Stars.
And we are privileged to be interviewing a member of the Gold Division in the Johto Conference. Please introduce yourself, sir.
How's it going, ISL fans? It's the Dalai Lama here. And before we begin, I just want to say that I'm really excited to be participating in the league this season.
What are you the coach of, Mr. Dalai Lama?
I am the coach of the Seattle Serperiors.
That's actually, I was really hoping that you were going to pick up Superior during this draft, but unfortunately not.
We'll have to talk about that later because there's a reason behind that.
That's perfectly fine. First question, though, is when did you start playing Pokemon?
I started playing Pokemon quite a ways back. I actually started about 12 years ago. I was 4 years old.
What was your first game that you played when you were 4?
The first game I played was Pokemon Ruby, and it was the year that it came out.
That makes me feel old. Okay.
I know, that's how it's been a lot, actually. A lot of people are surprisingly young.
I think I'm the oldest person here.
You might be.
Yep.
That sort of makes me feel like an old fart. So I started with Red and Blue, and I'm 22. So I think Red and Blue came out when I was like 4 or 5 years old.
I mean, isn't someone like almost the same age as you and just like, got in late?
Maybe, I have no idea.
Well, I would say that you have a pretty big advantage over all us youngins, but
Yeah,
that's just me.
I mean, no, Xavier and other people have proved that they know some stuff about some Pokemon better than I do. So that's age doesn't always factor in. It also depends on how much you research, pretty much.
Definitely.
The next question is, when did you start competitive battling?
Judging by your team, I kind of want to say 5th gen.
5th gen, that's actually pretty much spot on. I started competitive battling 2 or 3 years ago by Showdown.
Yeah, I saw some, I did see some 5th gen battles, even though I personally started in 6th gen. And, you do have some pretty big 5th gen for threats.
Yeah, like Volcarona. Well, no, I'm not gonna. Nope, I shouldn't say that. I'm talking about the draft, but there are plenty of definitely stuff from that were really good. Even in 4th gen, some of these mons were really good and competitive. A lot of these mons were up in OU and UU for a while before they got dropped down. So
especially Kabutops. I believe he was like OU in 5th gen because of rain teams.
So was Jolteon.
Broken.
They were all, or I should say most of them, were all fantastic mons at one point, even though they might not have stayed in one of the top tiers up until this point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, have you ever played in another league?
No, I have never played in another league even similar to this format. This is my first one.
I think you're on the same boat with most people. I think, who was it? Was it Cameron is the only one I think we have so far that's ever been in a draft-style league like this before.
Yeah, but we can't really judge too much on that because his didn't seem too balanced.
No, I'll agree with that. But
he had like a super broken team.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he told us before, when he was talking about it, he drafted pretty much all OUs and like had 1 or 2 UUs.
Oh wow.
They didn't have the same like setup that we do, so he said out of 2 seasons he only lost once, but he had pretty much all OU mods. So
you can't really on that.
You have to kind of take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, so we'll see how he does compared to people with, like, majority of us who've never done a draft like this before. So we'll have to see how he compares to that with having lower tier mods on his team.
But I'm sure the thing everyone is just eagerly waiting for is, how do you feel about your draft starting with your first pick, which is definitely a very solid one, Landorus T?
Landorus T for me was such a great pickup as a first round. I very much enjoyed drafting this Mon because he provides a lot of opportunities for my team.
It's very true. He's arguably one of the best pivots in the entire game.
Oh
That is
yeah,
very true.
I would definitely go as far as to say that. First of all, he's immune to ground and electric type moves, which having immunities, especially in this format, is invaluable.
Very much so, yes. And you have
Uh,
quite a few of those immunities on your team so far, so you definitely out of this draft, I think you're probably the best one that has the majority of the immunities.
Plus, I
well,
think you can work around the 4x weakness with some of the things you have.
That is very true.
oh yeah, no doubt. Like just my third pick, Mega Diancie, kind of walls ice types a little bit better than Landorus might, and so that's a big reason why I picked it.
Don't forget about that Escavalier you got down there in Assault Vest. Ugh.
It would be dirty. Um, but aside from that, it also has a super high attack stat at 145 and a reasonable base 91 speed.
And it's one of his typings is probably one of the hardest hitting typings in the game in ground because it gets some of the. I mean, Earthquake is probably one of the best physical hitting moves. Any physical attacker is probably going to run Earthquake. So with this being stab, it's going to do a lot of damage to anything as long as it actually hits it.
Yes, Landorus will be doing incredible damage, and as far as hitting it goes, I'm not going to be too worried about that.
Well, I meant like with Levitate or Flying types, that's the only ones that don't get affected by ground types. So
Yes, very true.
all other typings and abilities, you're going to hit them just fine with Earthquakes, and they're going to do so much damage. And it's going to be scary, that's for sure. Speaking of scary, Kieran B
Let's move
was
on
your
to
second
Kiram
pick.
Racist.
Yeah, Kieran Racist. Kieran B was your second pick. Talk about that. Why did you pick up that as your second pick?
Well, Kyurem Black is just a complete monster as far as stats go. And it has the ability Terravolt, which lets it hit Pokemon that have abilities that hinder attacks. So, for example, Dragonite with Multiscale gets hit without its 50% boost. And also Levitate Pokemon also get hit.
And also like Volt Absorb.
Yep, which is also extremely useful.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a very valuable pick for me.
And what's nice about it is that you can run it in multiple different ways. You can run it as a substitute set, you can run it as a mixed wall breaker, you can run it as a choice scarfer, choice banded. There's so many different sets that you can run with it. You can run it physical or special because, granted, his physical is 170, his special is 120, so his special is nothing to complain about.
Oh, definitely not. It is such a flexible mon, and so that's why it is such a fantastic second pick for my team.
And also, you can also run it defensively if you really wanted to, because his physical defense is 100, his special defense is 90. That's nothing to complain about in this format. So if you could really run any type of set you really want.
You could even run like mixed with Ice Beam to hit like a Gliscor or something harder to make sure you OHKO it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely. But needless to say, you will be seeing a lot of cool and a lot of different sets coming from Kyurem Black.
That's definitely good to hear. And what I do want to give you credit for that, though, is similar to how Crimson and GBA took Skarmory so that it doesn't outplay his Mega Beedrill, you took up Kieran B, which protect your Landorus T from getting demolished, because Kieran B would have done so much work to your Landorus T.
Oh yeah, that was actually something that I took into account before picking Kyurem Black, and it was one of the reasons that I picked him over some other top tier threats. It destroys Landorus Therian, and so together they end up working very well together.
That is very true. Now, you already started talking about this mon, your Mega Diancie. Tell us about that.
Thing's power.
The thing is definitely power. When it Mega evolves, it gains Magic Bounce, and that in of itself is a awesome ability, because my second pick, Kyurem, is very weak to Stealth Rock damage. And so, if I have Mega Diancie on my team, it's likely to discourage opponents spamming Stealth Rocks. And also, Mega Diancie has something else that I wanted for my team, which is Fairy typing, and that is very useful in this format.
Mm-hmm.
That is very true.
Almost everyone got a fairy, I think.
I did not. I regret that decision. But like just its stats alone, you could run it as pretty much any set. The difference, because someone did pick a regular Diancie, the difference between the two is that it gets boost in all its stats when it Mega Evolves, but the attack and special attack sort of switch for the defense and special defense. Regular Diancie is regularly just a defensive wall, physical or special. Mega Diancie is more of an attacker or a special attacker with 160 stats for both
Yep,
of those.
in both attack and special attack,
Mhm.
and that is absolutely fantastic in my opinion. And because it still has defense stats of 110, I believe, and a speed stat of 110,
Yep.
it is viable for a lot of different things.
And with the Diamond Storm, a 50% chance of increasing your defense, that's going to be really, really good.
That is a move that it would be very good as a spammable move.
Does it get Calm Mind?
Yes, it does get Calm Mind actually, which is one of the sets that you can run with it.
It also gets rock Polish, so that's honestly another move that if you want to help increase your speed.
I mean, it's already got base 110, which is going to outspeed a lot of things in this format.
But it will help outspeed stuff that might be Choice Scarfed.
Very true. And the likes of Mega Aerodactyl,
Mm-hmm.
which could Iron Head it to all hell.
Yeah, that would not be good for you.
Yes, it is very, very weak to steel type moves, which is unfortunate, but I have good counters to steel types like Land or Therium.
And what's also nice is that a common move that a lot of things run, like one of the sets, is a Trick Room set. You can run Trick Room, Stealth Rocks, Diamond Storm, or Moonblast, depending on which tab you want, and then Explosion.
That was another set that I saw, and I do have some slower Pokemon on my team in various places, and so a Trick Room set could be very good for my team.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you go against a really fast team, that Trick Room will really come in handy for that. So
Yeah, cough cough. First match of my entire season is against a very fast team.
and if people don't know who that is the Manaphy City, who we already interviewed. And yeah, their team is
Talon
pretty
Flame's
fast.
got priority.
Yeah, you're really going to have to focus on priority and possibly that Trick Room just so you can try to deal with that. So
But like I said, Diancie can be used in also a variety of ways, and so I love it for that reason.
Definitely very solid Mega.
I agree.
And you're kind of working on a steel weakness there, but I think you can handle it with your next pick.
Yeah, my next pick was Volcarona, and it was like you said. I saw the steel type weakness coming up, and I knew that I had to get a Mon that could do work on steel types. And so I looked, and from what I had left for the BL tier, Volcarona was by far my best pick.
I agree. It can be Quiver Dancing. Volcarona is so good in this format. There's no reason to run anything else on it. Like, it will do so much work with just one Quiver Dance, and it will start OHKOing things left and right.
Oh yeah, if you can set up one, even two Quiver Dances with Volcarona, it becomes so amazingly deadly.
Plus Fiery Dance, get that special attack up even more.
Yeah, it is not a Mon to mess around with.
Also, Dan ran it Scarfed with U-Turn.
Which was so stupid.
I honestly thought it was pretty viable. It could work if you really need to outspeed things. Like, I don't know anything, for example, but still.
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
In that matchup for Dan, he didn't really need the choice Scarf. There wasn't really anything that was really hurting him.
I know, but like in general, running it isn't that bad of an idea.
Oh, no. It's just Dan didn't use it correctly.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I will say Volcarona is sort of difficult to use as far as any other sets besides the Quiver Dance, but it would be very interesting for me to kind of dig deep and look into it.
Yeah,
I know, but another thing about that is Quiver Dance will be expected, so a Choice Scarf could catch them off guard.
that is true.
Yeah, catching people off guard with it would be invaluable during a match. So I can't wait to test that out and see if I can do it.
And now that we've mentioned it, people will fear it, and they might prepare for that, but then you'll go for Quiver Dance, and they won't be prepared for that.
We're playing mind games, man. They're not going to know what hit them.
That is very true. And speaking of Dan and choice scarfing, and he honestly Dan drafted another mon that you drafted that might not have that same problem that Volcarona has in having that 4 move syndrome, because he's pretty damn versatile, and that is Nidoqueen.
Oh yeah, Nidoqueen is a very versatile mon. It's so flexible. It can run special. It can run special attacking and physical attacking, and that is very good. Along with that, it can be an extremely bulky mon if you need it to tank hits. So that is why I honestly picked Nidoqueen. That and I really wanted something that could wall fairy types.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say that myself.
Well, Volcarona does a good job of walling fairy types as well, being a fire type. It does resist it.
Yes, but I don't consider Volcarona so much a defensive mon.
No,
So-
it's not. But
I mean, it's got like base 100 special defense, nothing to sneeze at.
no, that's
No,
why
it's,
Quiver
it's
Dance
no
is so good.
slouch. And also, as far as Nidoqueen goes, it is immune to Toxic and T-Wave, which I like that quite a bit because it would help me to be able to switch into status moves.
hmm And then with having Volcarona there, both those together, they are pretty much immune to all the common status elements with burn, poison, and paralyzation. So,
Just hope you don't get frozen.
or burn
Hope-
with on Nidoqueen. But yeah, frozen is a major just
We were actually doing a test match earlier, and I got my. Well, I won't tell you what, but I got something frozen.
Okay, fair enough. And just one more thing about Nidoqueen is that it has the ability Sheer Force, and that is just a nasty, nasty attacking ability.
even with Life Orb, yeah, it'll be upcoming things left and right.
Yeah,
So
plus people might honestly sleep on it just thinking it's purely defensive.
hmm Unless they want the GPA
Oh.
and see how Dan runs it, and then they won't sleep on it.
yeah,
Because if you
So
take
I-
ideas from Dan has run some really interesting sets and really interesting things with Nidoqueen, which I never thought of. Like, I always thought Nidoqueen was just a straight defensive mod. I never thought of anything else. And then seeing in the GBA with Dan proved me wrong.
yeah. So, anyways, I definitely cannot wait to use Nidoqueen and try out a few different sets of my own.
Also, it could set up toxic spikes, which could be useful.
hmm
Yep, it can set up a lot of entry hazards. So it is so versatile. It's another great pick, I think.
It was definitely a good pick. And another great pick that there was some controversy for, and I'm going to say that now, with Jolteon. Technically, when you picked up Jolteon, there was confusion on whether it was UU or RU. And technically, according to the list, it was UU, so that was 80 points. And with Jolteon, when thinking RU, that would be 60 points. Well, since it was technically you technically went over your max, and you actually went to the negatives. Just everyone else.
Yeah, that was a very sticky situation for me. I had a mathematical error when I was picking, and I thought that I had the extra points to pick up Jolteon, but as it turned out, I didn't.
Well, the reason why is that the person that was in charge of putting them all in there, he thought it was RU as well, so he put it on the spreadsheet as RU, and so by that standard, it worked out fine. So it was just a miscommunication and a confusion. But after speaking with Xavier and the others, we allowed it so that Jolteon is going to be just considered RU for this season. And so you technically are at 0 points right now.
Yeah, that was very good of you guys to do that, because otherwise I would have been really struggling to find a solution.
One good thing you could have switched it with is Heliolisk, which I don't believe was drafted.
Yeah, that would have been a reasonable switch for, but all in all, Jolteon is a mon that I really, really wanted on my team, and so to be able to actually keep it was amazing.
There wasn't.
Also, earlier I mentioned it has like base 80 something speed. It actually has base 95.
It's just barely breaking that 100 speed barrier out of base speed, so that's really, really good.
It's got
Mhm.
base 130, man. It's outspeeding a lot.
Oh yeah, it is outspeeding a ton of things.
And another mod that you could have picked up instead of Helois is also Electivire. That was never picked up. So if you wanted to run something like that, you could have.
Yeah, I could have gone for either one really, but like I said, Jolteon was the one I wanted for my team.
Yeah, I think he also wanted a special attacker.
Well, Electivire can run somewhat special.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just feel like Jolteon does it better.
Oh yeah, it's definitely better. It's definitely better. That's why it was
Oh yeah,
considered UU technically on the list. It was probably one of the best of those 3 mods.
Although maybe conserving points so that you could have a bit more flexibility when it comes to free agents and trades would have been nice. But still, I think Jolteon was the best choice.
Yeah, Jolteon is definitely a good mod. I mean, it has a lot of really good moves they can run with a really decent special attack.
oh yeah, 110 special attack isn't anything to disregard. That
really isn't.
it hits very hard, and along with that, it has Volt Absorb, which would allow it to switch into potential electric type attacks.
Which so far, electric types really aren't that big of a threat to you.
No, at the moment they're not, but I have to prepare for the possibility. I mean, one who's in this call, Xavier, who's of the Dallas Victory Stars, has a Mega Manectric, and
I mean,
that is a mon I need to be ready for. And so
don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's definitely Mega Neptric is really a good if you did not have honestly in my opinion it goes like Mega Neptric the number 1 electric type in this league, then Raikou and then Jolteon. It's like those 3 are the top 3, and I think the 3 of us got all 3 of those mons.
And I think honestly they're maybe not equally valuable, but like considering the fact that they each cost like different amounts of points, I feel like they are in a way equally valuable. What they are.
Yeah, very true.
That is very, very true. So, another mon that you picked up, which was a very interesting mon to pick up, was Breloom. Talk to us why you picked up Breloom.
Okay, Breloom was very big for me in the way that it added 2 stabs to my team that I didn't previously have. It added a fighting and a grass type stab, and I needed that quite a bit in my opinion.
Fighting is very good, plus it's got Technician Mach Punch.
Technician Bullet Seed?
Oh yeah.
Or you could run the Poison Heal set.
Well, I mean, honestly, if I were to run Breloom, I would definitely want to run the Technician set, because 130 Technician boosted base attack is just insane.
Really
Another good thing about Breloom is Spore is a very scary thing, so I feel like almost everyone you verse is going to want to run Safety Goggles on at least one Pokemon.
Exactly.
And if you don't even bring Breloom, they just have like a wasted item.
Oh yeah, exactly. Just for that, it was worth drafting, because it will scare people in that way that they will have to run something that will counter Breloom.
Yeah, like a Grass type or Safety Goggles, like they just need that.
I mean, it sucks that it's a 4 times weakness to flying, but you have so many things on your team so far that deal with flying types. It doesn't affect you that much.
Yeah, I don't see that as being much of a problem in the end, but it is unfortunate.
But another 4 times weakness mon is your next mon, who's 4 times weak to grass, Kabutops.
Yeah, Kabutops was a very needed pick for my team, and the deal was with that is during that point in the draft, I was starting to panic a little bit, because I realized that I had a Volcarona on my team and also Kyurem Black, but I didn't have anything to spin away Stealth Rocks. And
it's Rapid Spin?
Yep.
My God.
It is a rapid spinner, or at least that's one set you can run. And
I was actually going to bring that up at the end of the draft. I didn't realize Kabutops had Rapid Spin. That's amazing.
I was really considered drafting it, but then you picked it up, and I was like, oh, well, nope.
Yeah, but I realized that I needed to get one so badly, and Kabutops was the best option that I could see that was cheap enough for me to get.
It also gets knockoff. You can run a Sword Stain set.
You set up the rain, you're outspeeding everything.
Yeah, and if I'm outspeeding things and I have a 115 attack, I'm definitely going to be hitting some things so
Stab
hard.
Waterfall in the rain. You could run like Choice Banded, Aqua Jet.
Mm-hmm.
Needless to say, I am very excited to be having Kabutops on the team, even though at first I was a bit hesitant on getting it.
Run Rain Dance
also
Attract.
set up rocks.
Run Rain Dance Attract, outspeed, and then just attract things.
You don't even need Rain Dance. You could just set up a Rock Polish.
That is true. Does it get Rock Polish?
It does get Rock Polish.
Yes,
It does get Rock Polish.
Also gets
So-
Rock Climb. You
Need
can try
Rock
to confuse things.
Yeah, so like if you think you might switch into Volcarona soon, you can just set up a Rock Polish. That way, in the event you need to switch out, you don't have to be hindered.
Very good thought.
Mm.
And it does get it doesn't really get much for to deal with grass types, but that's really not much.
I mean, you can run Hidden Power Fire. Base 65 special attack. Let's go. Or
Yeah.
Blizzard. Or Blizzard.
Or Blizzard. That is true.
Blizzard.
Can do some work.
I mean, it's got a nice high base power. Maybe like, assuming you run like a Hasty Nature or something,
Mm-hmm.
it could do some damage.
Yeah, I don't know about that Blizzard though, because the accuracy on that scares me.
I mean, that's why you got to run those wetlands.
That is very true. Alright, so
Mhm.
Are we moving on to his next pick?
yeah, and I'm gonna let you introduce this one because you have some
I have a slight vendetta against this pick. We have the reason I have a Durant on my team. Scavalier.
Yeah, you might say that I definitely sniped Xavier
That is
on this
definitely the biggest snipe I ever got, Excavalier.
But it really was. Like, I was on the Skype call with him during the draft, and he was so upset.
Like, I originally wanted Dragouge, but then I got Kyurem, and I'm not even more happy with Kyurem than Dragouge. And then I did also want Crocodile, but Gastrodon was good, and he paired well with the Scavalier, which I was going to pick next.
Oh, Xavier, I'm sorry for this one, but
You better be. I'm
Don't
gonna
be
rescue
sorry.
you, too.
Don't be sorry.
Escavalier was too good of a pick for my team.
That thing's gonna check. That thing is going to catch a choice banded V-Create so hard.
Yeah.
You two battle each other, so that's gonna be a major shots. You have to do hashtag shots fired. It has to be.
I'm running fire type moves on everything. I want you to know.
Run HP Fire on every single mon.
And then he
I'm
doesn't
running
even
HP Fire on Victini. I don't even care.
You should definitely run HP Fire on Victini.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that brings up another point about Breloom. Any HP hidden power does get boosted by Technician.
Yep, that is a good point, and so an HP move is definitely going to probably make an appearance most every single week on Breloom.
HP
It is
flying
kinda
for the
funny because
Chestnut.
We have two Mons with very unique typings that are the same: Chestnut and Breloom, and Durant and Escavalier.
That's true.
HP flying for the Chestnut.
I'll run the berry.
Yep.
Just take it right out of the GBA. Just take it right out of that match.
Yep.
I mean, we all know who won that match.
Yeah, I was not happy about that win. Anyways, so why did you pick up Escavalier? Like, what was your reasons for it?
Well, I wanted a Scavalier, first of all, just because he is a very, very bulky mon. And aside from that, he also has the Steel typing, which my team had completely lacked up to then. So now, instead of just having Nidoqueen for my main solution to Fairy types, I now have a Scavalier, which completely walls them.
That is very true.
And aside from that, I also saw a very scary Latios, and that was drafted very early, and I wanted a solution to that, and so a Scavalier was my solution.
And thus they run Hidden Power Fire.
Yeah, but there's ways that I hope to get around that with a Scavalier, because Hidden Power Fire is extremely common.
Just run Assault Vest. You're fine.
Just run Assault Vest on everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Honestly, the main reason, like, I think Escavalier is good is because it's bulky. Like, Scizor is obviously the best Steel Bug type. Like, there's probably no arguing that, but Escavalier, it can take special hits.
Yes, which is very surprising.
Yeah, it has, I believe, 105 defense
Yeah.
and special defense. And along with that, it also has a base 135 attack.
It's like a hidden power fire will not one-hit KO it.
Oh, not especially not if it has Assault Vest.
Yeah, if it has Assault
That's
Vest,
true.
it will definitely live it.
Plus, I can definitely see it running Assault Vest mainly, since, like, you could also do Choice Banded.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Choice Banded Megahorn or Choice Banded Ironhead, that's gonna hurt anything.
You're not real to Choice Starfoot.
Also, another good thing about Escavalier that I really, really like is that he's completely immune to Toxic, and due to his ability, he's also immune to Powder moves.
Good
So, I was very excited to draft him, if for no other reason but that.
Because he gets, it's Overcoat is his ability, isn't it?
Yep, it's Overcoat.
Yeah.
Plus, he'll definitely scare out Psychic types, so you can run Pursuit.
That is true. Pursuit is definitely a lot more viable in this league than people give it credit for, so.
I can't wait to... Well, I shouldn't say I can't wait to try it out on somebody, because then everyone's going to prepare for it.
But the thing is, like, in the right circumstances, Pursuit is like trying to prepare for a Shadow Tag almost.
Yeah, it won't matter if they can't really prepare for it.
No,
yeah, it's really just all about if they can predict it right, like on a switch in.
Exactly. Alright, so that pretty much leads us to our next mon. Probably one of the best utility mons out there, in my opinion, and especially since it's only an NU, is Uxie. 130 base defense and special defense, and has a really good chance of setting up a lot of utilities. Why did you pick that mon?
Uxie was just one of my favorite picks of my entire draft, and we might get to talking more about this later, but actually I got sniped when I went for my BL pick, which was Volcarona. And before Volcarona, I actually wanted Cresselia. Cresselia and Uxie both are very similar in the way that they're both psychic types, and they're both very defensive mons.
And they both have Levitate.
Yep, they both have Levitate. So,
I personally would value Uxie more, just because I really like U-Turn.
It gets U-Turn, it gets Stealth Rocks, it can get both you can set up screens with it, you can set up a Calm Mind substitute set.
You can use Memento and then go into something that can set up.
You can do a Weather setter, you can do have this thing be your Rain Dance setter for Kabutops.
Physically defensive with Calm Mind.
It has so many good options you can run.
Acrobatics. No item. That way you can eat up knockoffs too.
That is very true. Just run Citrus Berry.
Yeah. Overall, really good mon. You could run Future Sight if you're that real.
He left the call.
Okay, I thought it went awkwardly silent.
Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties. Let me see if I can re-add them real quick.
I'm just gonna go off of some things Uxie can do while we wait for these to be solved. It could set up Trick Room. It could yawn things. I don't know why yawn isn't under the list of viable moves. It could be really useful. Skill Swap can be useful against mons that rely on their abilities, such as Huge Power, Azumarill.
Yeah.
It could Solar Beam with like Power Herb. Very, very useful.
Like when you compare it to its counterparts of Azelf or Mesprit, Mesprit is more of the attacking one, has really good special attacking, while Azelf is more of the balanced one. It can pretty much do anything. It's very similar to Mew, how it has a lot of good coverage moves, and you can really run it as any set you want. Uxie is the defensive one, and that's something you really, really need to have.
Yes, and it gets access to a move that Shady ran very well against Dan. Psych Up.
Psych Up is definitely a good move to have. A lot of people.
That is a move that at some point I would love to see be used good.
It runs Heal Bell.
It could run. It gets a lot of moves, so maybe it can run certain moves that a lot of things else that would probably run, and then use Imprison.
He does have a sort of a slow team, so he could run Trick Room if he wanted to.
You really could. Plenty of decent coverage to handle 4x weaknesses. Dazzling Gleam in case like a Hydreigon might want to switch in on him.
That is very true.
Energy Ball to hit like Swampert, Quagsire, Gastrodon,
Alright, so
or Giga Drain if he really wants that HP back.
we'll be right back. We're gonna do a little segue, a little cutaway here until we can, because we're still having technical difficulties. So just be a quick little cutaway, and then we'll be right back to finish the interview. Alright, sorry about that, guys. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty there. Last where we left off was we were right about to talk about Sableye. So go ahead and talk about Sableye, Braden.
Okay, Sableye was a good last pick for me because of its Ghost Dark typing, which I hadn't had yet on my team, and also it's a good spin blocker for me because of its Ghost typing. And so I wanted that for my team just so that way I had the option. Now, it has pretty average stats, if not a little bit subpar in some areas, but I really like Prankster. Its Prankster set is very good, depending on if I face a team that would be good for that, especially teams that have very physically offensive mons.
The Prankster roller is
Prankster
really gonna come through.
also
Mhm.
Prankster Recovery
That's
because
also big.
that's very useful because it makes up for its not too good defenses in a way.
Mm-hmm. And along with that, it can stop mons from setting up on me using taunt, and
Mhm.
so I'm glad for that for sure.
Also, if you really need it, it also gets like Shadow Sneak and Sucker Punch, which are two pretty nice priorities.
And speaking of taunt, you can run a taunt yourself and taunt other people from using setup moves or even setting up hazards, so you can stop that from happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, Sableye was a good pick to round out my team with, in my opinion, and I'm glad I was able to pick it up.
You all
Definitely
were talking about
options.
off screen about Rain Dance with the Kabutops. I believe Sableye does get Rain Dance, so you could use Sableye as the Rain Dance setter.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing to consider, but I believe Uxie might also get it, and so that way I have two mons to set that up if I want to run it.
That is very true. That's definitely going to come in handy, I think. And you don't really have some of the fastest mons, so uh, you possibly could, maybe with one of your mons, I don't know which one could, Uxie might learn it, I'm not sure, but Trick Room could come
Sableye
in
does
handy.
get Rain Dance.
Yes, Sableye doesn't learn Trick Room, but Trick Room could come in handy with this team, because that would really help speed up some of your mons that might be a little bit on the slow side.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few that could use a nice speed boost. Just like Escavalier for one of them has horrendous speed.
And like we said, with the Rain Dance for Kabutops, even if you set up a Trick Room, that Kabutops can still put in work at that point.
Yeah, Kabutops in the rain would be absolutely deadly.
Mm-hmm. Kabutops isn't the only thing that benefits from Ring. Scavalier could take fire moves better. Jolteon could run Thunder, which is powerful.
A Jolteon running Thunder. I like this. I like this a lot.
That's power right there. I mean, just kill everything.
Just be careful with
Choice Specs Thunder.
Volcarona, though. You might not want to bring that during the Wiki Run Rain.
Yeah, it would struggle in the rain. No doubt there.
But Xavier, is there any questions you have for him about his drafts?
The fact that you took a Scavalier infuriates me. And it was like just before it. Like I believe I was gonna get Gash. I wasn't gonna get Gastrodon. It was like I think I picked up Gastrodon because you took a Scavalier, and then I realized Durant is a thing. I think Bob pointed that out to me.
Uh-huh. Okay, well, I'm sorry about that. I don't mean to snipe people so much, but Escavalier just worked well enough for my team that I needed him.
Although that Durant, I'm gonna beat you with it just because you did that to me.
Yeah, you should totally sweep me with Durant. Try it out. I'd love to see that.
And actually, you drafted Gastrodon, and then he drafted a Chevalier. And then
Is that what happened?
Yeah, because I'm looking at it now. Because yeah, because it just you picked up Gastrodon, and then you were thinking, all right, my next pick's gonna be a Chevalier.
Literally, the two worst snipes were by the people right next to me.
Yep, you just got sniped Crocodile the round before, so you want to pick up Gastrodon just for another ground typing, and then very next pick, Escavalier.
Although speaking of which, did you ever get sniped that bad?
Well, I only got sniped once in pretty much the entire draft, which surprised me. But I got sniped very, very badly. actually. I believe it was the fourth round, and I was going for my BLmon. And before that, I had wanted Melodic, Infernape, and it might have been Blissey. And then a few picks before I came up, all of those mods got taken. And
Mhm.
so I had to dig a bit deeper, and I found Volcarona, which actually ended up being very good for my team, in my opinion.
Yeah, you didn't have a fire.
Hmm.
Yeah, and Furnip was just 2 picks before you by Jair, and then the Melodic and Blissey was both picked up by Tom, who Tom sniped a lot of people with that Melodic pick, because I was going to pick up Melodic, and then I had to end up picking up Suicune after that.
Also, you probably needed a bit more special offense anyway, so I think Volcarona might be better in some ways.
Oh yeah, definitely. Volcarona with the Quiver Dance setup, it's really going to come in handy for you.
Gotta prepare for it.
Alright, so this is to our last 2 questions. Our first one is: Who are you most likely most? Who are you most?
Uh,
How do words? You know what I'm saying? Who are you most excited to face in this league so far? Based off of the draft, the conferences, the schedule, who are you most excited to go against?
I'm most excited to go against.
Yeah.
I would say that I am probably actually most excited to go against Cameron and the Manaphy City. Now, and I faced them the very first week, and the reason I'm so excited to go against them is because he has a killer team. Like, he has a lot of threats, including Greninja, Talonflame, and also I believe he had Gliscor, which walls my team somewhat well.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of good threats on his team, and I'm excited to try and face that.
And you do have some mods that could try to handle Gliscor. Kieran B is going to be your one thing you really want to use to handle that Gliscor. Also, Kabutops will definitely be nice, especially if you get into the rain. That will definitely help you get that Gliscor. And your best bet is probably trying to just get a knockoff onto it and get that Toxic Orb off of it, possibly after he gets becomes toxic by it, so that it starts taking damage from. Well, no, we want to get it before it. Never mind, I'm stupid. Alright, so who are you least excited to face then? If you're most excited to face Cameron, one of the toughest matches you're going to have this season, who are you least excited to face?
Ooh, least excited to face. I'm tempted to say Manaphy City again, just because it's also has a high potential to absolutely destroy me. But as far as the least excited to face, I'm going to have to go with a guy who's actually in the call right now, Xavier and the Dallas Victory Stars. I am not excited to be facing them.
Why?
Just because Victini scares me. Like, do I need
You have a
another reason?
Landorus. Calm down.
Yeah, Laner's walls it pretty well.
Yeah, and that's why I like it so much. But all the same, it is a threatening team, and it's one that I don't necessarily. I'm not eager to face it.
I mean, you shouldn't be. It's a threat. Hawaii taking lives.
It really will take lives, and it's definitely when do you go against them, the Dallas Victory Stars.
Also, don't sleep on Durant.
Oh, I can't now. There's no way.
It's gonna take out that Mega Diancie, that's for sure.
No, it's you'll go against them. Yes, you go against them. Pretty.
Week 2.
Yeah, for week 2. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting
Yeah.
at least.
Although, I do want to mention the fact that you just have probably the most intense week 1 of the.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. And it's funny that the match I'm most excited for and least excited for are both week 1 and 2.
At least you get them out of the way.
That is true. You will get them out of the way. Especially, you will have to go against the Manaphy City again in week 8.
Yeah, and so you can definitely expect that to be a fantastic battle.
Especially since you'll both see a bit of each other's hands. Unless he gets a Sword Stance up with Talonflame and sweeps you, of course.
Yes, get that rain up quickly, get up. And at that point, your best bet is trying to get that rain up quickly so that his Flare Blades won't do that as much damage to you. And then you can...
Yeah, set up sweep.
Now,
He's
Get
always
up with Flare Blades.
Would you outspeed a Talonflame in the rain with Kabutops?
Yes, because they probably don't run much speed investment because of Priority Brave Bird.
That is true. With the Gale Wings now, that is Priority Brave Bird. I forgot about that. But
Yeah, they usually run a bulkier set with like Will-O-Wisp and Roost.
just want to see the calcs on that, just to see. Because his Talonflame speed, if he runs 136 investment, which according to Showdown is the speed investment for a Swords Dance Talonflame. 350. So that makes him at 354, and you're at 259 of max for Kabutops. So yeah, you're definitely gonna need the rain to do any damage against it. But luckily though, your Waterfall and Stone Edge, and even an Aqua Jet in the rain will kill.
Yep.
So
Definitely have ways around it.
So that's definitely, even if you decide to go for like a Sword Stance to set up on you, you can always just Aqua Jet it and take it out in one hit. So that's in the rain though. So outside the rain, an Aqua Jet won't kill. But hopefully we won't have to deal with the Swords Dance Talonflame, because that would not be fun whatsoever.
I don't think anyone wants that.
No. Which, how do you really think he's gonna run a Swords Dance Talonflame week 1?
I mean, he could. You gotta expect everything.
No, yeah, that's true.
There's a single thing you didn't prepare for, it will sweep you.
That is definitely true. That is definitely
So
true.
you better prepare for that Choice Specs Quagsire.
Oh, that would be scary. That would be really scary.
Yeah, would. Powerful Choice Specs Quagsire.
Yeah. Alright, so with that, is there anything else you'd like to say, Braden? Braden. Do we have another technical difficulty?
I mean, it wouldn't be our interview if it didn't.
I'm having a very hard time hearing you guys. Like right now, if you can hear me at all, it's just more technical difficulties.
Well, is there?
I'm really sorry about this.
It's cool.
It's cool. Is there anything else you'd like to say? We can just leave it as it is if you want.
As for anything else I'd like to say, I would just like to tell all the ISL fans out there that that I'm very excited to be playing this season and expect a very exciting year for me as well.
You'll definitely have a good year, that's for sure.
Very nice.
But with that, I'm Top523 with my co-host Xavier, and we will see you all in the next video.
Bye, Z's.
Bye.